Fast boats look impressive. They're loud, aggressive, powerful. They cut through the water, jump over waves, and make everything feel fast and exciting. And at first, it seems obvious. Faster must be better. But the ocean doesn't work like that. Because the moment conditions change, speed stops being an advantage. The water gets rough, waves get bigger, and suddenly that same speed becomes a problem. The boat starts hitting harder, bouncing more, losing control. And what felt smooth just seconds ago starts to feel unstable. Meanwhile, something much slower is moving through the same water. A trawler, no speed, no aggression, just steady movement. It doesn't jump, it doesn't fight the waves. It goes through them. And that's the difference most people don't expect. Because in calm water, speed feels powerful. But in real conditions, speed starts to work against you. And that's where everything changes. Why people love speed. At first, speed feels like complete control. You push the throttle, the boat responds instantly, and everything becomes more intense. The sound gets louder, the wind hits harder, and the water starts moving faster beneath you. It feels powerful, direct, like every small movement you make has an immediate effect. And that's what makes it so addictive. The faster you go, the smoother it seems. The boat rises slightly, the drag decreases, and it almost feels like you're flying over the water instead of moving through it. Everything becomes lighter, faster, more responsive. And in that moment, it doesn't feel dangerous at all. It feels perfect. That's why people keep pushing it. A little more speed, a little more throttle, just to feel that same smoothness again. Because as long as the water stays calm, everything works exactly the way you expect it to. The boat stays stable, the direction is clear, and control feels effortless. And that creates confidence. The kind of confidence that makes you believe nothing is going to change, that the boat will keep behaving the same way no matter what. That speed is something you can always control. But that confidence depends on one thing: conditions staying the same. Because the moment they don't, everything starts to feel different. What speed really does. And this is where everything starts to change. Because the moment the water is no longer perfectly calm, speed stops feeling smooth. At first, it's barely noticeable. A small wave, a slight bounce, nothing serious. The boat still feels fast, still feels powerful, just a little less stable than before. And most people ignore it because it doesn't feel like a problem yet, so they keep going. Same speed, same confidence, but the water is different now. And at high speed, even small waves stop being small. The boat starts to lift more aggressively. Instead of gliding over the surface, it begins to hit it. Each wave becomes an impact, not enough to stop you, but enough to change how the boat behaves. And those impacts start to build. The hull hits the water harder, the movement becomes less predictable. The boat doesn't just move forward anymore. It starts reacting to the water in ways you can't fully control. And this is the moment where speed becomes a problem, because at high speed, you're not just driving, you're committing. Every second you move forward, you're reducing the time you have to react. The faster you go, the less control you actually have, and the smaller your margin for error becomes. And then it happens. You hit a wave slightly wrong. Not a big one, not anything extreme, just a small angle, slightly off. But at that speed, that's enough. The boat lifts, loses contact with the water for a split second, and when it comes back down, it doesn't land straight. It hits at an angle, hard. The entire boat shifts, the direction changes. The balance breaks for just a moment. But at that speed, a moment is all it takes. Now you're no longer in control. The boat starts to bounce, slide, react instead of respond. And everything that felt smooth just seconds ago turns into chaos. Because at high speed, you don't get time to fix mistakes. You only get time to experience them. Trawler Advantage. And this is where a completely different type of boat starts to make sense, because while fast boats struggle to stay stable, a trawler does something very different. It slows down, not because it has to, but because it's designed that way. A trawler doesn't try to ride over the water, it moves through it. The hull is deeper, heavier, and built to stay in contact with the surface instead of bouncing above it. And that one difference changes everything. Instead of jumping over waves, it cuts through them. Instead of reacting to every impact, it absorbs it. And instead of losing control as conditions get worse, it stays predictable. That's the key difference, because on the water, predictability is control. At lower speeds, everything happens slower. The boat has more time to respond, and you have more time to react. Movements are smoother, changes are gradual, and nothing happens instantly. That gives you something speed takes away: time. And time is what keeps situations manageable. A trawler doesn't feel fast. It doesn't feel aggressive, but it feels stable. You don't get that moment where the boat suddenly lifts out of the water. You don't lose contact with the surface. And because of that, you don't get those sudden, uncontrollable impacts. Everything stays connected. Even when waves get bigger, the movement stays consistent. The boat rises and falls with the water instead of fighting it. There's no sharp transition between control and chaos, just a steady motion that you can predict and adjust to. And that's why slow starts to win. Not because it's more exciting, but because it's more reliable. Real ocean conditions. But the real difference doesn't show in calm water. It shows when the conditions get worse, because the ocean is not stable. It changes constantly. Waves come from different directions, wind shifts, and the surface is never truly flat. And the further you move away from shore, the more unpredictable everything becomes. This is where fast boats start to struggle. What felt smooth before now feels aggressive. Each wave hits harder, the boat lifts more, and control becomes something you have to fight to maintain. Instead of moving forward cleanly, the boat starts reacting to every change in the water. And the faster you go, the worse it gets, because speed amplifies everything. Every wave feels bigger, every impact feels stronger, and every mistake becomes harder to correct. The boat doesn't just move through the water anymore. It gets thrown by it. And that's where fatigue starts, not just for the boat, but for you. Constant impacts, constant corrections, no stable rhythm. Everything becomes unpredictable, and staying in control requires effort the entire time. What felt exciting before now feels exhausting. Meanwhile, the trawler is still moving. Not fast, not aggressive, but steady. It doesn't try to fight the ocean. It works with it. The movement stays consistent, even when conditions get worse. The waves don't disappear, but the way the boat handles them stays predictable. And that's the difference most people underestimate, because in real ocean conditions, speed doesn't give you control. It takes it away. Why slow wins? And this is why slow starts to win. Not because it's more exciting, not because it looks better, but because it gives you something speed takes away. Control. At lower speeds, everything becomes manageable again. You have time to react, time to adjust, and time to correct mistakes before they turn into something worse. The boat stays connected to the water, movements stay predictable, and nothing happens instantly. And that's what matters, because on the ocean, it's not about how fast you can go, it's about how well you can stay in control when things stop going your way. Speed feels powerful in perfect conditions, but the ocean is rarely perfect, and the moment something changes, speed becomes a risk. That's why boats built for long distances don't focus on speed, they focus on stability. Because when you're far from shore, far from help, and conditions start to change, the only thing that really matters is staying in control. And in those moments, slow doesn't feel weak, it feels right.